I'd like to share with you the method I use when I bait fish for trout. Alright, so what you'll need are some miniature marshmallows. For some reason I like these guys. Alright, you want to get a fresh bag, one that's not hard and sticky. You want to use some soft ones. Alright, so you get these little mini marshmallows, you bite it in half, about this size. What you want to do is you thread it, or just push it over the hook. They're soft enough where you could push it over the hook and slide it over the line. You want a little piece of power bait. I like either orange or green pumpkin. Those are the only colors I use. They work for me. I use a fly hook. If the fish are small, you could use just the power bait and the marshmallow combination. But if the fish are large, or if you're fishing in the Sierras, for example, I like to use a little piece of night crawler. I prefer the mini night crawlers because they're a little smaller in diameter than if you were to get the full size night crawlers. But what you want to do is get one of these worm blowers and inject it with some air. Just insert it in the inside the worm and then give it a little puff of air, and that will add a little more flotation. Okay, so then when all said and done, it should look like this. For some reason, trout like a long, especially big trout, they like this type of profile, a long, slender profile. But smaller trout, again, just that will be sufficient, just the power bait and the marshmallow. All right, so things that you'll need are small egg sinkers. This is a quarter size. This is a small bead, size number 4. And then this is a size 14 snap swivels. Alright, and you also need some type of bite indicator. If you can find these, it's great. Those are old, hard to find. Otherwise, you could just make some out of just a paper clip and a corky, and here I use some beads. Sometimes you want a heavier version, and especially if it's windy. Okay, and then you want a nickel. So the hook I use is a fly hook. It's a size 12 light wire scud hook. They have a light wire version, and I'd recommend that. All right. So let me show you my setup real quick. Okay, you got the small egg sinker. You have a bead, and then I like using 6-pound test for the main line, and then I use a Palomar knot. And then on the leader, I like using 4-pound test. For small diameter line, I like using 3 turns when I make the surgeon's loop. Okay. And then I use a 12 to 18-inch leader most of the time. And then I tie it on with a scud, a snell knot, rather. All right. But don't limit your leader length. Sometimes if you're fishing off a dam, for example, you could use a lighter line and up to 20 feet. It's a little hard to cast. All right. Let's see. Sometimes you want to use, especially if the bottom of the lake is clean, you could use a piece of American cheese, single slice American cheese. Just take a little bit off and roll in a ball and put it over the hook. This is good sometimes if the fish are feeding on the bottom. All right, so just the plain cheese on the hook. Okay. All right, so let me show you how to use this stuff here. All right, so when you cast it out, after you cast the line out, you want to use a rod holder that holds the rod just about parallel to the water. You want to point the rod directly at have the rod point directly at the weight, and then you want to make sure that everything's tight. So you want to make sure that snap swivel is right up against that weight. All right, then you use your indicator. Between the first and second guides, you want to put the indicator down on the line, hook it over the line, and then you want to keep pulling until everything's really snug, right? All right, so when you get a bite, right, you're gonna see it go up really slowly, or sometimes it really takes it out fast and you don't have time to react. So in that case, you want to use a coin and you put it over the line between the reel and the first guide, all right? And that will give you time to react, because once that coin is down there, you could flip the bail and keep it in the rod holder like that, all right? So then if a fish takes it really quickly, you know, you don't have time to pull this off nice and easily, then it'll pull the line out from underneath the coin, and then you have the free line to just let the fish pull it right off the reel. All right, so the main thing is don't let that fish feel you. And then once you have time to take it out of the rod holder, you flip the bail and just let the fish take the line out. Never reel up to the point where the fish could feel you first, okay? So just don't overreact, stay calm, and just let the fish pull it tight, right? And then once the line is straight and tight, then you could just gently set the hook. By that time, the fish usually swallowed the hook and the bait anyways. So anyways, once you get the fish up, it's a good idea to have some sort of hook extractor. This is an old toothbrush and handle, and then it's about an 1/8 inch wide, which is kind of important, and it has a hole in it. I cut a groove in it, and then you just slide the line through that groove into the hook, just like that. And then once you're there, it's just a matter of twisting it and popping the hook out. All right, so hopefully that helps, and we'll see you next time. Take care.